Hey everyone, welcome back to Bandecdotes, the show where we talk everything music while focusing on the local multi-talented musicians here from Southern Ontario, Canada. I'm your host, Phil Paxton.
I'm Ty.
We've got a great episode for you today. Sorry that we've been off for a couple weeks. I was out playing shows with both Sinner AD and Hellbent.
That's awesome. That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
I was I got kind of sick, Phil. I kind of got lost there for a bit. Just kind of fell apart, I was having a physical and existential crisis. I laid in my bed for 2 weeks and I was basically in like a waking paralysis. I just couldn't really move. I didn't eat for a few weeks. I lost some weight, so if I'm looking better, that's why. Have you ever seen Skinamarink? Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
It was like that.
Yeah, but we're back. But
We're back. Everything's awesome. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. Follow us on the Instagram. We got it back. We got the old one. So 2.0 is no good. Go back to 1.0. We don't like iterations. We keep things original here.
Yeah. I wish I could say something really complicated happened other than I was trying to post something one day from the Bandecdotes account. It was being glitchy. No matter what I did, I couldn't get it to give me a post. It was doing, I can't even remember what it was doing. But I decided that it would be a good idea to delete the app and then reinstall it. And when I did that, turns out when you log out of Instagram, you are pretty much walking into Alcatraz. You are entering a space where you cannot get back out, and so you throw in your password, and it's like, oh great, this account. Let us text you a code, and it just never sent. It just never sent. And I was like, okay. While we were on the road with Hellbent, Breezy was like, hey, make a post. And I said, hey, I'm not logged into the Hellbent account. He said, log in. I logged in. It was so incredibly easy. There was nothing it was like I was walking out of prison, like nobody cared. And then I was like, okay, so that was easy. Let me try with the Bandecdotes account now. And it actually came through. I got the thing. Everything was happy. I wish, it's not a cool story, but we got it back. We're back. Following 2.0, it's just my personal account. I don't really talk much about it. It's just, me being a dad.
No, follow Phil. Since we've been on a mini accidental hiatus, a lot of music has come out. Quite a variety too, actually. The thing I really like about doing this podcast and learning about all these bands now is there's such a giant variety of music around here. It's really cool. We've got some great future guests that we have planned. We're working out some logistics there. And if you guys are in a band or you're doing something creative at all in the scene, and you want to hop on an episode, just shoot us a message. Don't be shy. We're always looking for content. So if you can come in and help two idiots fill some dead air, we would absolutely love that.
Hell yeah. We love that. All right. Well, before we get into the local music, let's jump into some of the news that we've got coming up.
All right, guys. So getting into the news, guys. Big news. Phil, please be careful. My God. We are just going to list off some of the stuff that we've come across that we found interesting. The Foo Fighters have a new drummer.
Yeah, this is insane. This guy's got quite the resume. Now, before we get into the drummer himself, I want to ask you, did you have any suspicions on who it was going to be? Was this something that you cared about?
Yeah, I'm not I'm a huge fan of the Foo Fighters. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't know why I put it that way. I really like the Foo Fighters music when I hear it, but I don't go out of my way to follow them or listen to it. Yeah, no, there was no real way for me to have any speculation on who their drummer was going to be.
I, for whatever reason, and I know he plays in a different band entirely. I believe his name it's the drummer of Chili Peppers, Chad Smith. Is that his name? Was for whatever reason, he's kind of a funny guy. I think they actually incorporated him in part of they put a video together announcing who the drummer was going to be, and I think they teased Chad Smith as the drummer, and it wasn't him. That was the only person that I really had in mind. Maybe the drummer from Queens of the Stone Age, just because at one point Dave Grohl filled in on drums for them for one of their most iconic records. So maybe they were paying, someone's, respect back. To be honest, I don't know. I didn't know who Josh Freese was until he came up in the news. But his resume is crazy. He played in at one point Guns N' Roses. He played in
Okay.
a Perfect Circle. He played in Devo at one point. There's more bands I'm missing. I know there is. This guy is his resume is unreal. He played in the Vandals, and he does play in Devo still. He played with Nine Inch Nails, Guns N' Roses, Sublime with Rome, which is kind of a weird thing that we'll maybe talk about another day. He played with the Offspring, so this guy has been around the block. This guy's got a resume. Very excited for Foo Fighters, I suppose. I'm kind of on the same page with you. Wasn't a huge band for me. Looking back on their catalog, they definitely got some tunes that are cool. You put them on for me, I'm not going to say that's bad,
Hmm.
especially if we're sitting out on a porch drinking. It's a good time. So good for them. Great to see what they've got going next.
Their drummer seemed like their drummer was a very very popular drummer, clearly, and the loss of him was a really tragic thing. It seemed he seemed to have an impact on a lot of people that he met. So obviously, rest in peace to Taylor, right?
Taylor Hawkins, yes. Alice Cooper, who is 75, was recently reported saying, "The word retire is not in my vocabulary." Do you have any sort of connection with Alice Cooper? Is he just, I mean, I think we briefly touched on him. Is he Canadian? Is he Canadian?
Is he's There's no way he's Canadian. Don't. Oh my god, I didn't want to type. Give me one sec.
I think he may have made our Canadian list.
Oh my god, if he did, I already forgot. Oh my god. No, he's from Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, he's not Canadian. Alice Cooper, 75, reported recently the word retire is not in my vocabulary. He's been doing this for a while. I mean, needless to say, would you go see an Alice Cooper at this age? I probably would, but I mean, I don't particularly love his music, but he's got a couple bangers, enough for me to rock to. I mean, what about yourself?
I remember really liking the song "Feed My Frankenstein." I think it's called.
Yeah.
So there's that. I don't know if I can actually like name many other Alice Cooper songs, or any really. And in this picture I'm looking at right now, he looks like an absolute ghoul. So I would absolutely go watch this guy perform.
I'm kind of right there with you. I think my dad was a huge Alice Cooper fan, so that just kind of tells you. I mean, like he's been around the block playing tunes for a while. There was once when I was in high school. It was that exams had just finished. There were the morning exams, and they had all day exams, and we just finished. And I grabbed a boombox, and I had "School's Out," and I played it walking down the hallways, throwing papers around, being like "school," like just straight out of a movie, like an absolutely ridiculous scene. Uh, it was ridiculous. That was a real thing that happened. But yeah, good for Alice Cooper. Keep it going, buddy.
I can't believe I forgot that was an Alice Cooper song. I forgot that song existed till just this moment. That's insane.
Speaking of old heads who are touring, even though that they're up there with Alice Cooper, maybe not quite up there. We're talking about Blink 182. Their latest tour just came through Toronto, I believe twice. I didn't get the chance to see them. I don't got $1,000,000 to go see those tickets. I would love to go see Blink live, but it's just that how it is these days. Ticketmaster's sharky. We can't get out there. Did you see any footage of their live
I did.
performance?
I did.
What did you think?
Everyone who saw it said it was a really good performance. So I'm gonna take people at their word because I wasn't there. But it looked really low energy to me.
Yeah,
Did you get the same impression?
I got like almost verbatim. Like if people are going, "This was an amazing show," and I'm seeing all
Yeah.
this footage, and it just kind of looks like tired and like the onstage banter. It seems so forced. See, like Tom, Tom and Mark, they when they were doing the like Mark, Tom, and Travis show, the live record where they've just going back and forth with like dick jokes and shit like that. You can tell that they had literally been living on a bus together. They had this camaraderie where they were like
Hmm.
literally family and they were just making these dumb jokes. And it's clear that they haven't been that close. They talk through lawyers. That's how like Tom left. It was so weird. This band is multi-millionaire, revenue. So like there's a lot at stake. So the fact that they're kind of just like forcing these nostalgic bits seem, I don't know, low energy. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, and I mean, like that song, like I don't know how long it came out, but like it was what was it called? Jelking, which sort of
Edging.
edging. Okay,
But yeah.
jelking. Holy shit! Oh, jelking. That's the name of my new punk band. We're joking. That's actually sick, by the way. I don't know if we can put this in the podcast because I don't want anyone to take that name. Holy shit, joking. Why the fuck did I think it was that? Yeah, but no, like their last record, their last good record, in my opinion, was that Neighborhoods record, which was like they were like in rare form again. The announcement of Sum 41 retiring made me realize how much I truly love that band. And I went back and I listened to all of Does This Look Infected and all of Chuck, and holy shit, and even All Killer No Filler and Half Hour of Power, I think is the first one.
Power, so good.
Yeah, like I know that they like that band aged the way Derek did physically, but like I don't know. I think I always thought in like my own headspace that I liked Blink 182 better than some. I don't think that's the case looking back on them in retrospective. Blink has some really, really great stuff. For a band like Blink that got so self-serious as they went, Sum 41 just always seemed to, be having fun with what they were doing, even in their later, less beloved records.
Next up on the docket, everybody's always got to know what Corey Taylor's saying. Everybody needs an opinion from him. He must be getting interviewed 24/7. I don't know how they're always getting these interviews from him.
We need to know what Corey thinks.
They literally they must have like a long list of just like things that are like, we need to ask Corey. Literally, there are hundreds of articles about what Corey thinks. Turns out he doesn't like AI. He doesn't like AI generated music. This isn't no surprise for him. He's a fucking hick from Iowa. I mean, like in the best way possible. I mean, I'm just saying, like this dude doesn't care about technology.
Well, and the thing is like this is not only is this like the least surprising take in the world, like I would be hard pressed to find literally any musician who's like, no, AI generated music is a good thing.
Right, yeah.
Like this is a universal opinion. So I don't understand why they're like, yo, Corey Taylor doesn't like AI generated music. It's like, right. That makes sense.
It's a strange thing to report on, but we're here reporting on it. And what's he say? I don't care for any of that crap, dude. To be honest, I don't know what people are trying to prove. Are they trying to prove that computers can do things just as good as people? Because if so, what's the point? Like, I mean,
Taylor continued, it's an even worse example of technology taking over for talent than what I've been ranting about for years about Pro Tools and tuning and using the same fucking sounds. And people going, oh, isn't it cool? And I'm like, no, it isn't cool.
Yeah, I guess he's not a fan of production, which is here or there. I don't know. Like the dude probably recorded on like the earliest forms of like technology. So like you have to admit, like they've come a long way, and things aren't what they used to be. And I'm sure when we're 20 years from now, things are going to be hella different, and we'll probably be saying the same things Corey Taylor is saying. I got to give him a little bit of credit.
I mean, yeah, it does feel a little like old man yelling at clouds to me, but I don't think you have to look at everything so like black and white. You know what I mean? There's utility in advancing technology like this. Like I even love those like dumb idiots on Twitter who will be like, watch out, filmmakers, AI is going to take over your job. And then you watch like that beer commercial it made and it's just fucking horrifying looking. Like it's like in terms of like still images and stuff, and even like I've seen a lot of creativity with AI being used in like music videos and stuff like that. So, I mean, you can use it in a lazy way, or you can just use it as another creative tool. And I think that's what artists will do. So
for sure. And to your point, I mean, yeah, some of the AI stuff that's being spat out right now is kind of horrifying, but like this is just the invention of the wheel, my friend. Wait until we get to the Ferrari. Like I'm telling you, maybe in 5 years from now, we're going to be able to create movies in seconds. And I'm not saying filmmakers watch out. Like, I think we're going to be able to create things a lot easier without having to spend as much money. And I think it's hard for people to wrap that around their head because, let's face it, so many people's jobs are in that money. And I don't blame them. And I think those will still exist. I think they'll be kind of like two different categories. And you'll be able to tell which is like, all right, this is some guy who just made this on YouTube with this like AI generated stuff. All right, here's a Martin Scorsese film. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you're obviously going to see two different things. Like, it's going to be some ridiculous shit. It's going to be Sharknado versus fucking the latest, what's that? The new shit that's coming out. Anyway.
Right. Right. And I certainly understand the argument from actual artists that it doesn't feel good to have, like, to know that this is basically just like a massive plagiarism machine.
Right.
I think there'll be utility in it. And if that, sort of dark future exists that you're talking about, then what can we do? Like, it has begun.
Let's move on to some even darker shit.
Is this the redemption arc that everyone's been waiting for? I don't think so. But let's take a look. Phil Anselmo says he disavows the Confederate flag. Quote, "It's ridiculous, man."
So much of their merch has the Confederate flag.
Here's the thing. I don't think this is why anyone was ever mad at Phil Anselmo. I think it had to do with that like Nazi salute thing he did, and then he yelled "white power" just in case there was anything left to interpretation. He made it abundantly clear what he meant. So most of the articles I've seen on it are just about him talking about the Confederate flag, but it's also just him kind of saying like, I don't want to talk about politics. God, it's such an unfortunate disaster that Vinny's drumming and Dimebag Darrell's music had to end up like tied into his legacy because they were some of the best shit. Fuck. God damn it, Phil.
Next up on the docket, frontman, guitarist, and vocalist of Nickelback, Chad Kroeger, says most musicians are lazy.
He sure did. So most is such an interesting word. It's pretty like early 2000s humor to just dog on Nickelback. So I'm not going to do that. I'm also going to try to give this a balanced and nuanced take because I did read some of this before going into this. And what he's saying, I guess, is, this is kind of contentious. He says they date hairdressers because they actually have a job, and then they support them until they move on to their next hairdresser. And they're like, someday I'm going to make it. And so when you get in the studio with these people, you realize, like, wow, you are incredibly lazy, even when it comes to something you truly love. And that is just a crying shame. So he later clarified, saying that he's been in the studio with many rising musicians that don't appear to have any real interest in their craft, which he finds incredibly perplexing, given the world is going to hear whatever they end up with. I find that particularly interesting. That just this assumption that if you make a record, everyone's going to listen to it. Like, it's great that it's been that way for you, my guy.
Yeah.
So he's like, I've been in the studio with hundreds of newer musicians, and they're like, bro, that was a solid 10 minutes, dude. Like, let's just go do something else. So because my work ethic, when it comes to creating something or making something special, I'm like, the world's going to hear this, right? So do you just want to half-ass it or make it sound good? Yeah, and then for some reason, he just went on to, like, talk about how, like, if you go to Nashville, Tennessee, if you go to Nashville, you'll go up and down Writers Row. Those guys have a cup of coffee, and they've got an acoustic guitar, and they write it at 10 o'clock, and they got a session at noon, and then when they got another one at 2:30 every single day, 3 songs a day.
So, like, the work ethic and being able to create are somehow, like, parallel to him, because I mean, it's different. Sometimes, like, there are days you wake up and you necessarily don't feel like creating, especially when you've got someone like Chad Kroeger breathing down your back, being like, "Let's make a riff." Like,
it's not like Chad Kroeger's dropping mixtapes every month like some rappers do. Like, I don't know what he's talking about. This is also an extremely, extremely out of touch take because like, you've been famous for like 25 fucking years, idiot. Like, guess what? we have jobs. Like the fact that Phil's in technically 3 bands is ridiculous. Like given he has a kid and a full-time job, like it's such an out of touch take to be like, why aren't these guys writing 3 songs a day if they care? It's like, my guy, they don't want to starve. It's like when like really out of touch rich older people like project their children onto everyone, and they're like, kids don't want to work, they just want to sit in their room and smoke their bog and play their GTA. It's like, that's your kids. Shut the fuck up.
Now, on to something a little bit more positive. New Hives have a record coming out.
Absolutely. Did you like the Hives growing up?
Oh yeah. Well,
Me too.
It took me a while to get into them. Like I got into them a little bit later, but I certainly appreciate a lot of their. They're just a great fuzz rock band. They hit perfectly. They came out right at a good time. I think maybe late or maybe mid 2000s. They were coming out with some records, and like I said, they're European, right?
A Swedish rock band, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's the Swedish bands that typically break through that like international mold. There's such a carefreeness to like Swedish music. And I remember like, so the Hives came out at like a time where like the bands was like a big thing. You know what I mean? The Strokes, the Vines. And it was so unfortunate that bands like that all got labeled as the bands, because the Vines were like this like grungy, like Pearl Jammy, Silverchair, like shrieky vocals sort of thing. Like the Strokes were like this crazy, like Muse, but not as insane, but like crazy guitar stuff. And then like the Hives were basically this like really twangy ass punk band, in my opinion. Like, and so all these bands got like classified in my head as like these the bands. And I remember just thinking, I really like this Hives one for some reason. And then I realized like, I'm like, oh, this is just like straight up punk music. So I'm actually really excited to hear what they do. Their new album is called The Death of Randy Fitzsimmons. I don't know what that means.
When's the last record they came out with?
Lex Hives in 2012.
Wow. So we're talking, what, 11 years? That's exciting.
Yeah, and I remember the album that really hit for me was if you remember, the album Tyrannosaurus Hives with like Walk Idiot Walk and Two Time and Touch and Broken Bones and Abracadaver and Diabolic Scheme and B is for Brutus and shit. Like, man, that album, like, and their weird aesthetic, like, God, they're a really cool band. So I hope they come down to Toronto. Dun, 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 dun.
So a new crabcore remote added to Destiny 2. You play Destiny 2, Tyler?
I used to. I haven't hopped into. I have a tendency to just sort of like buy the DLCs like a year later and just sort of play through the story, and that's it.
Yeah, when they're cheap.
But yeah, I haven't like. I just like. I feel like I'm just at a point where like I just don't want to be invested in a game where there's like 8 different currencies and like all this shit. But the Crabcore remote, shockingly dated, but I mean obviously made famous from Attack Stick Stickly video.
Yes.
And Beartooth actually has a new album coming out, and based on the one single that's come out, I think I might finally like a Beartooth record again. But yeah, Destiny, cool move. I'm not much of an emote guy or a Destiny 2 guy, but if I was, I would probably, give them a few bucks for a Crabcore emote. So
do you think this is like the gateway for us to seeing like moshing in like Fortnite and like
I've seen there was a mosh dance in Fortnite.
Teeth, the good boys in Teeth, who have just put out a brand new record, announced a hometown show with Great American Ghosts. Yeah, this is super exciting. They put out a whole tour. They're definitely hitting a bunch of cool spots in Southern Ontario. This is a great tour that's hitting everywhere. And yeah, Chris is now featured as an official ESP artist. That's exciting.
We're adding in a clap for Chris. Let's give Chris another clap. He's the 6-string god, I think, as you put it before.
6-string god, yeah.
And this is just so cool to see. Like, I don't know. I'm just such a fan of T's success right now. So it's I don't know.
It's good to see. Like a thing we always say on this channel is like a rising tide floats all boats. So like the success of Teeth essentially always brings eyes to this area, and next thing you know, people are talking about Single Wound, or people are talking about Rust. Like, this is a good thing. And I think sometimes as musicians, especially locals, we can kind of get in our heads that like we're in like this competition, and it can definitely feel that way. However, it should always feel like a healthy competition. It should always feel friendly.
Teeth seems like a band that already seems pretty concerned with like giving back to the scene. Like they seem to have a tight relationship with
Yep.
Rust, who's just another heavy hitter around here right now. Yeah, it's good to see Ontario music doing well in general, and you're absolutely right. Like it can only help everybody else. These are like, again, Blake and Chris, like especially, and like Davis Maxwell did all the drums on this EP. We're going to go into it farther in a bit because we're going to talk about the EP, but these are veterans from around here. Shout out Ontario music. Everyone's doing awesome.
Everybody, you know who you are.
And speaking of Ontario music, Gordon Bombay has reunited. Their music is recorded. We have the recordings. We can't show it to you, but we have them. And with any luck, you'll see them on the show soon. So stay tuned.
Yeah, this is exciting. We'll get into it when they're on the show.
Absolutely. But yeah, we're going to get into the local releases, and that's going to take up a huge chunk of the show, guys, because you guys have put out so much fucking music. Oh my God. All right, the first band on the album, this is one I hadn't heard of. Sown put out a song called Paracosm.
Yeah, I think you got that right. Paracosm. Yeah, this is the first time I had ever heard Sown. They had some other tracks I think that they previously put out, but they were really teasing this one, and it caught my attention. Super heavy. I think they played a show just recently. Like this band has this crazy energy. Like it's aggressive,
very,
it's chunky,
very pissed off vocals.
I could see someone getting hit. Like like it's gonna be a crazy pit. Yeah, super heavy.
Yeah,
Sown.
I like the vocals bring such like a pissed off punk energy to them, and then there's just this like big atmospheric like death metal stuff all throughout the song too, and there's like this like crazy like phaser part in the middle. Yeah, it just sounds evil and angry.
Yeah, evil, angry, and big. Love the production.
Yeah, it's absolutely sick.
Speaking of great production, we have next on the topic the homies in Reality Denied. RD. That's, of course, Matt Squires and Andy Bianchinello, who play in Sinner, who have their own band, Reality Denied, with Andy Demetrician, our homie Dylan, and Connor. Like this is great. They self-produced it with the help of Davis at Schoolhouse, because Andy Demetrician also does studio work himself. He's been on the show. A lot of these people have been on the show. I think all of these people. This is just such a big celebration of music. The album cover is ridiculous. Like I as soon as they showed me it, I loved it. I loved the diamonds. Like
it reminds me of Ramirez so much.
If you were to pick up this record in 2005 in an HMV, you were like, oh, someone forgot to put this rap record in, they accidentally left it in the hardcore record section.
You're like, it's like pure knuckle dragon, like just fucking beat 'em up core, like,
yeah.
Oh my God, it's so fun.
And that's what it is. Like, you can tell that they're enjoying themselves. It's like, shout out to everyone in Reality Denied. And lots of people are talking about them. They deserve all the love that they're getting, because these are hardworking musicians, and yeah, good for them.
Yeah, the chugs on this album sound crazy militant. I really like the drum tone too. I don't know if you noticed, it's really like it's very present in the mix, and they're really fucking loud drums, but it just again adds to that like really pissed off tone that they're going with. And the thing that I like about this album, that I gave Hellbent a lot of credit for, that I give Cold Shoulder a lot of credit for, is again, they just don't waste any time. It never feels like they're playing a riff longer than they should. And Connor really fucking pulls off the character that he is on stage. To actually like get up and have that like in your face power violence, like the mix of like just like, again, knuckle dragging sort of lyrics, but the self-awareness behind it, it's just so awesome. This is a band that really understands who they are. in the best way possible. I think they're like a powerhouse around here, and it's been so cool as their album or their EP released, like just to see how fucking stoked people get when they drop music. So
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah.
sounds awesome. It's big. I can't wait to hear these songs live.
Next up, we have some of the dudes that who would always come into the shop when I worked at the bong shop, always grabbing something. Shout outs to Mushroom Valley with their release MV. This was super cool. A couple of these bands, Reality Tonight and Mushroom Valley, they just played a local festival called Chub Fest that looked like it popped off really
Yeah,
crazy.
look big.
So like shout outs to all these bands that are, but like yeah, this Mushroom Valley release was super good. It kind of I was getting like Damon Albarn, who's like the vocalist of or like the composer, you can say, behind Gorillaz.
Okay.
I was getting that like spacey, really artistic vibe with this. This was really cool, especially to drive to with the windows down and the sun out. I surely enjoy it. Not a huge fan of shoegaze. I don't listen to a whole lot, so I don't know if like I'm out of term with anything that I'm saying. The music or the vocals are really pushed into the music. They're not really
It's
as present.
buried.
They're kind of part of the musical essence itself, which took me some getting used to. But frankly, like I said, on a drive home and on an afternoon after work, with the windows down, it sounded great. I really enjoyed this.
I'm not typically like a shoegaze person either, but I found it like pretty compelling. It's like it seems like I don't know, maybe it's just like the psychedelicness of it, but it seems like euphoric but depressing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how the vocals are buried in the mix. It's like kind of like a thing with shoegaze, right? Is to like bury everything and have that wall of sound sort of accompanying it.
Right.
But I found on the second song, he's a lot more. He sings with a lot more clarity, and he brings his register down, and you can like really hear him. And I like the actual high tone he uses. It's almost like again, it's like instrumental in the way he's singing on the first track. Yeah, it's obviously influenced by like things like My Bloody Valentine, but I also got like a little bit of Nirvana, a little bit of Queens of the Stone Age, like. Yeah, really interesting band for sure. I came away from it liking it.
Yeah, Know You're Floating was definitely the track that I really liked off it. That's the second track that you just mentioned. Mushroom Valley, some new Niagara hitters. Can't wait to see more from them. Can't wait to see it live. Hell yeah, I'll have to grab a shirt from them soon.
Yeah, so the next band on the docket, Phil, is the band Plague, and
oh yeah.
Holy shit, I did not know about this band. Oh boy, this is exactly the type of shit I like. When the mix of thrash and hardcore is perfectly balanced in this 50-50. I'm such a sucker for this shit. Reminds me of like This Is Hell a lot, if you remember that album Black Mass, which is like a goddamn masterpiece. Yeah, it reminds me of that. There's like one of the songs just has like this crazy ass whammy part happening over this like just pure murder riff. Like, man, I love them. They have like they went everywhere. There's like death riffs. There's a part that straight up sounds like Between the Buried and Me on here. Like this is really cool. I also love when a band has the balls to like name one of their tracks just their band name, and the song deserves it. It's a sick song. So yeah, shout out these guys straight up. If you guys are watching this episode, you guys have joined the ranks of like one of my favorite bands around here. That shit's insane.
We just played a show with them in Windsor a couple weeks ago at the beginning of May. And they killed it live. Super cool release. If you're a big fan of Power Trip, if you're a big fan of Extinction AD, all those like Municipal Waste, Iron Dragon, you're gonna love this band.
This was a fun release. I love the name. To the Bone released their EP Bone Zone.
The Bone.
I had never heard of them before, and I again, this is some Knuckle Dragon shit, and I really like it. I also, this might sound weird, but I like that it sounds like an old school demo more than anything on this release. Like it gave me nostalgia. This is so fun. Real pitch shit.
Yeah, To the Bone with their EP Bone Zone.
So funny.
Just like having fun and like yeah, I was getting like early TUI demos kind of like vibes, like
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like this was like relentless heavy metal, like just like hardcore music. This was great.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of a time where everyone was competing more to be like the slower, heavier band than the techie band, and
Yeah.
I love it. And I just the self awareness, like to call your EP the Bone Zone, is just so funny. So shout out those guys. Definitely excited to see what they do moving forward.
They're the same or at least similar members of the band Ethereal Tomb.
Yeah, so this is like their shitpost band basically. It's super sick. So next on the list here, I was able to check out the Chilldozer EP. It's another shoegazy sort of band with a little bit of like a punk vibe to it as well. I really like the vocal tone on this one. It has that like sort of like buried quality to it. This album also has like a really, really good clean guitar tone. I, again, as someone who typically doesn't like shoegaze, I came away from this genuinely liking it. So yeah, third song on this one. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it was definitely my favorite off that release. So shout out to you guys. The name Chilldozer is actually like perfect for this album, or for this band rather. It's just really, because there is again that really big wall of sound feel, but everything just feels so calm. It's really a genuinely perfect name for this project.
This is written by Jolin, who used to play in Hellbent. Jolin is quite the character. I've spent many hours in a van with him, and I've taken many tour tips from this dude. This guy is an ultimate legend in my book. I'm glad to see that we're covering him on the show. Honestly, when you saw them on the docket, I didn't even know they had music out. So this is exciting. Definitely go check out Chilldozer's self-titled EP. We love Jolin. Like shout outs to him. I missed you, dude. I'm glad to see that you're making great music. Cause hell yeah! So next up on the docket, we got Red Coat with their release All Good. Came out earlier this year, but we're still covering it. Very excited about Chris McCurdy. He is one of the few people that I can count on my hand that have been double guests on the show Bandecdotes. He is just a great character to talk to. I love this track. Love the production. I'm pretty sure he self-produces everything. He is quite multi-talented. I know he can play drums. He can play guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he performed everything on this track, but I could be wrong. But like I said, this guy is, we love Chris. And yeah, shout outs to this tune. Really good. What did you think of it?
Oh yeah, huge Smashing Pumpkins vibes on this song. Chris really knows his way around a hook. He's just really good at writing like catchy stuff. I love the guitar tone. I love the phaser use. Yeah, again, it just sounds like good songs from that grunge era in the '90s, but with the facelift of modern production. So yeah, really interesting stuff. I really like the throwback stuff, the sort of grungy alt rock thing they're doing. So friend of the show, big friend of the show, best friend of the show, Tommy has put out 2-song promo with World Grasp. It's awesome. It's metallicore at its absolute finest. It's just a lot of fun in a genre that does have a lot of fun bands, but can, also be a very self-serious genre. So I like to take all the fun bands we can get. These 2 songs remind me of like Cruel Hand at their just absolute best. It's again, Tommy, much like the Plague stuff that I like so much, just so good at hitting that mix of thrash and hardcore and putting it in a package that is just fun, pitiable.
Really, I want to really highlight here is Tommy's the one on the track doing everything, playing the skins, playing the cymbals, playing the ones, the twos, the threes, and the fours. He's doing they're doing the bass, lots of you gotta, oh, and not only just performing on everything, producing everything.
Yeah,
So
mixing, mastering,
and mastering, like doing all the hard work involved with really just creating a one-person band.
Yeah,
and Tommy Wood never comes short of doing anything fun like that. Their covers of Metallica are fun. Their covers of Slipknot are a ton of fun. Like always something fun to look forward to when Tommy is getting on the mic or playing guitar.
Just truly likable human being. So there it is. Please check out World Grasp stuff. We don't need to tell you. You know it's fire.
Next up, we have Days Away with their single Air Japan. This was a cool tune. This was like a fun, kind of reminded me of the band Architectures in Helsinki. Like that really kind of fun art indie pop.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah, I like this song. It reminds me of like it reminds me of like Waves and Peach Pit and like the Growlers and like Japanther, and it even reminded me of like if you remember that band as Tall as Lions.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. So like that kind of like I always associate that like music with like good weather. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like surf rock. It's like beach music, right? And the thing about it is actually listening to that release made me realize that I like this genre of music more than more so than I actually expected to. I actually kind of like went and listened to like some Wave songs and some Peach Pit songs and stuff like that. And
nice.
I was like, fuck, I think I really like noisy surf rock shit. So they're definitely a bit more chilled out, at least in this single, but they have an entire full length release as well that I'm going to check out at some point.
Exciting, yeah.
Yeah, I want to check that out soon.
Days Away, spelt D-A-Z.
Yeah, a very stoner rocky sort of vibe to the whole project. Obviously, it's very just like sitting on the beach, smoking a doink.
Yeah. No cares in the world.
Hell yeah, brother.
Speaking of having cares in the world being aggressive as fuck, we're talking about Teeth. Holy shit, with their latest record, A Biblical Worship of Violence. Oh my god. This was aggressive. This was heavy. This was produced by Davis. He played on the Skins on this record. We got Chris, we got Blake. It's so exciting. I got to play a show with them in May.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting stuff. What did you think? I was blasting this on my ride home from work, and I swear, like I blew my speakers out. Like this was a heavy record.
Yeah, it's basic. I would say like perfectly produced. I don't know what like there's really like left to be said about this band. Again, they're like absolute veterans in the scene. This is like evil sounding. If you actually go and like look at the lyrics to these songs and stuff, like the lyrics are actually like really impressive. For me, like I think the whole EP is really good, but the standout track for me was "We Are Young." Like it's evil as fuck. It literally feels like the whole song is written through the lens of just like expressing intrusive thoughts. Yeah, it's like the audio equivalent of like a horror movie. If like deathcore is like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, this is like Hereditary.
Okay, yeah, I like that comparison.
The guitars are insane. The bass, everything just is mixed, mastered, produced perfectly. Drum fills are all excellent. And I mean, as someone who's had like a lot of experience with like depression and more so like disassociation during some like stuff I went through with my own addictions and stuff, these lyrics feel like self-sabotage. And right. I really like that. It reminds me of that feeling of being so wasted and so angry and saying things I wish I could take back. Like it's like this dark vulnerability that's hard to explain. Like there's vulnerability in the sense of like being open and honest with your emotional experience, but then there's like that dark, intrusive vulnerability where like the type of shit you only tell to a therapist. Like I thought this crazy shit that I don't want to ever think again. Again, I can't describe it more as just like like blasting your intrusive thoughts, like sonically.
Pig Virus was also a really good track of this.
Oh, and Drip.
Hell yeah. Now, this next release, I didn't actually get to listen to them fully. Dear God with their release, The Punchline. What did you think of this?
It's a really interesting album to me. He's also seemingly signed to Dynalan Records, which is pretty massive. So congratulations to them on that. Most of the like what I thought were going to be beats on this album, it must be members of Mile End or something doing just instrumentals, right? And then just compressing the shit out of it. I got like Limp Bizkit vibes on the first song. There's like a Korn lead sort of going on. Some of the songs are like like sort of like deficit sort of hardcore tracks, almost like Mr. Bungle tracks in a way. In a world where like there's a lot of like rap with like punk and metal influences that feel really inauthentic. This really does feel like a punk project. This doesn't feel like a rap project.
Yeah, like this electronic punk, kind of like similar to like maybe like Show Me the Body, like
Mhm.
this like
That's
fuzz
a good.
rock punk, like kind of dancey in some sense. And then when they play live, it's a full band. Like it's an interesting project to say the least. But I'm glad it's getting the attention it deserves. And yeah, this was cool. I like this. At the end of the day, the punchline. If you're looking for something aggressive, but maybe metal is like too aggressive for you, this would be right up your alley.
There's certain songs that remind me of like a rough, overly compressed like Rage Against the Machine.
Hmm.
One of the songs, Weaponize This, literally sounds like you're listening at like to like a Nine Inch Nails instrumental at like double speed, and it's just like going through it really quick, and he has like a nice flow over it. I loved Copiapa when I heard it. Now that I've really
Yeah.
digested it, I understand like the flow of the song. Eraser was cool. Bullshit World is the one that like really again gives me that like Rage Against the Machine vibe. There's a lot of bands that, you know, there's a safe way to do stuff like this. And Dear God is not doing that. They are taking the path less traveled and still seeing success. So I like the experimental stuff, and I like seeing someone again who gets more experimental as they go. So shout out to them.
Next up, we have the Dirty Nil with their brand new record, Free Reign to Passions. Now, this beginning track, Celebration, started off so sick.
So heavy.
Uh, like, I love that they do this, especially when they had it like Doom Boy
Yeah,
and Fuck
that's
Her.
a
But
good one too.
I think this record I liked a little bit more than their last record. There was just something
It's
more
heavier.
authentic about it. Yeah, it's heavier. It's something really cool. And you know what? I think I read something just recently about why they called it Free Reign to Passions, because I think they had an issue with maybe their label,
Okay.
and they're looking for their
And
free reign
wait, so
of.
the album they would have put out while they had a problem with their label was called Fuck Art.
Yeah,
That's
potentially. Yeah,
that's sick. That's sick. That would make sense. Big if true.
this was
Really
a
good.
really cool record.
Yeah, a lot of the riffing reminds me of like the 18 Visions hard rock album. I love how this band like they deliver such like a simple repetitive message in their songs. Like Stupid
Yeah,
Jobs on this album goes crazy. That's the most relatable shit I've ever
stupid
felt
jobs.
in my
Yeah,
life. Like
stupid jobs. Yeah,
yeah,
that was a fun one.
I didn't realize their vocalist could like scream like he does on certain parts of this
Yeah,
record
he
too.
likes to just throw that out. And well, the vocalist is the guitarist too. They're a three
Right.
piece, which is so cool. I always gotta give credit to them.
Yeah.
And like when they play live, he kills it. He like quite the performer. Have you ever seen Dirty No live?
No, I thought they were a Mac DeMarco ass rap group or something. Like this is like a new revelation for me. And again, like I feel like getting into their music now has felt like when I first heard the Wonder Years, and I was like, holy shit! Like this is like
Right.
relatable, awesome stuff. Like the guitars are heavy. They'll throw in tiny little breakdowns into certain songs, or they'll just have like a nice like groove. And there's something about like the way this album's mixed. I don't know if the bass is turned up super loud. I don't know if they're using like an octave pedal, but like whenever their riffs will go from so bright sounding to so heavy sounding as soon as they start hitting lower notes. There's so much weight behind it. Their guitars sound so heavy, and like yeah, I missed out on this band for so long. It's so silly.
I love how they're just kind of like it's like a rock and roll band,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no like cheesy, like you know
Yeah.
how sometimes when you hear like radio rock bands you go like, okay, there's no
Yeah.
there's no meat and potatoes to the song. You can clearly tell that they really just want to lean into being a rock band for the sake of being a rock band. This is more like they want to create this stuff because they genuinely enjoy Kiss or they genuinely enjoy Cheap Trick. In their other record, Doom Boy, they talk about,
Slayer.
Chromegs and Turnstile and
Yeah.
Slayer, and like it's like this band, they've done their homework and they can make a cool self-aware song.
Are they
Uh
the are they the best hard rock band?
Yes, let's give it to them. Let's give it to them. Fucking Canadian legends, Dirty Nil. They came up with this really cool wave with like Single Mothers, Pup, and like those three bands. I've like they've kind of gone their own different routes and definitely have their own successes in different areas. But they like I've definitely seen a bill where the three of them were on it, and like it's insane to see where they're all at. And yeah, love to see the Dirty Nail working as hard as they are and getting the recognition that they deserve, being played on the radio. Hell yeah. Definitely check out this record if you're a bit fan of the band.
So next on the list, do you know about the band Explore?
I do know about this band, Explore. I will tell you what I do know about this band. This band is with our friend Kyle Neverfails.
That is
He
correct.
is a hardworking individual. I don't know what I think he might be playing drums on this.
No, all around salt of the earth, good dude. By the way, absolutely love Never Fails.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure our homie Nick in Hellbent recorded these tracks.
Okay.
Yeah, shout outs to him.
Yeah, these were sent to me a while ago. They finally got their stuff up on Spotify, and they're working on like visualizers and stuff. It's basically just like a little jam band from Kitchener. They're like, they do like funk, souls, blues, you know, little psychedelic stuff, like jam band stuff, you know what I mean? But they're good at it. And the really interesting thing about Explore as well is that the members, like every member, as far as I understand, interchanges duties. Like Kyle will play bass on a song, then he'll be playing drums 4 minutes into that song, and then like he's doing the guitar solo on this part. And so they're all like they all play every instrument, as far as I understand. It feels like a collective almost. They're a trio, so
that's super cool. Next up, we have Beguiler. I don't know if I've gotten that right.
It's like a Street Fighter name, right? Like Beguiler. It's when you hit him with the sonic boom. I have to remember to add in the actual sound effects. It was a sonic boom.
Unrepented was their song that they just came out with. This song was so good. We just played a show with them at the same show that we played Plague with in Windsor. Great fellows, new friends of ours. I'm glad that we're giving them a shout out on the podcast. This song is evil. Did you check it out with the lyrics? Are like it's definitely it's talking about like how recently Canada has come across Indigenous unmarked graves that have just been, you know, kind of just like shoved in the past, and like it's about, you know, acknowledging that. And honestly, the song is super cool. The artwork has the upside down leaf with the blood. Yeah, I really like this. Very evil sounding. Love those vocals and the drums live. Like they like sometimes when you hear a recorded deathcore band, you can kind of go, okay, maybe those are just like triggers and stuff like that. I watched this drummer live. Honestly, it was straight up like a robot. This band knows what they're doing, and they were heavy, and they brought that energy live. And hopefully, Sinner can play some shows with them again because we really enjoyed them.
Yeah, the production on this song is like immaculate. Like everything sounds clear. You can hear everything so well. And the vocalist sounds enormous. The vocalist sounds like they're 20 feet tall. Like,
yeah.
There was one low where the image that came to my mind was like literally like Godzilla breathing fire. Like it was just like so big and massive. Yeah. And like they have the, again, those like super deathy parts that come off like deathy. That come off like operatic and like really dramatic, and I just can't give enough love to the production on this. It's crystal clear. You know who produced this?
I don't know who produced it, but like I'm right there with you. Like it definitely seems like there's constantly something going on with
it. Sounds like $1 million recording.
It does. It does.
It's crazy.
Sound really good.
All right, so Ascension Blacklist have put out a new video for the song Bloody Knuckles, and we are going to film a reaction to it soon. And Hellbent has put out a brand new video, guys. Technically 3 videos, okay?
It's finally out.
Yeah. No, I've already seen it, and obviously it's super fun. Damn, I've been wanting to try those. So are they? I find that like some like nacho cheese flavored things taste kind of farty. How are those?
Yeah, full of farts. Yeah, they're bad.
Farty?
Yeah, don't buy.
That sucks. Don't
Not
no. It's a
recommend.
no. That's unfortunate. All right, guys. So, because you guys put out so much damn music, we didn't really have time for like a main topic. So, I figured let's just talk about some general music that's come out recently that we've been listening to. And I wanted to start with the new Drain release.
Dude, this record was so good.
It's so good, right? I'm such a huge fan of their. I only started listening to it in the last like year or so, but the California Cursed record is like one of my favorite hardcore records of all time. Now I
Yeah.
love the energy and the like positive vibe that band brings without like by just listening to their music, you would never understand the just weird positive vibe that seems to surround that band, even just when they play. Like the type of singer who's like in the middle of the pit with the mic, you know what I mean? Like that type of energy. I love
Yeah.
that.
This record was so good. I like it. It's got like the ups and downs. Like I love the cover of Descendants they do with like this record was so cool. And like the cover is like slap dab in the middle. It's not the end of the record. It's not the beginning. Like it's such an interesting. This record is so cool. I love when a band does this, and I like that you brought this up. I think a last time we were talking about this, but you could tell that this guitarist loves 80s metal
Mm-hmm.
and like is very infused with hardcore. I got that like TUI vocalist, kind of like that, yeah, like
Yeah.
really cool, good stuff.
I remember on our episode of the Encore when we were talking about Gel, and
Yep.
I said out loud, it's not like I can think of like a memorable hardcore interlude. The interlude on this album with Shakewell, holy
Yeah.
shit! It's like really good the way it transitions into the mosh part at the end. It's
Yeah,
dynamite. I
that was super
loved
cool.
that. Yeah, such an unexpected little treat in the middle of that record. And yeah, there's not even a point in trying to pit. This is like a no skip record for me. I just listened to it's Drain's one of those bands where again I find it really hard to put on one of their songs, especially because they sequence well, and it makes it really hard to, you know, listen to one or two of their songs because they just barrel into each other perfectly. And it's, you know, by the time you're going to turn off the song, you're already neck deep in this like mosh riff again, and you're like, I'll leave it on. Suicide Boys, they put out what's called the Yin Yang tapes. So they've put out a 4-song like EP or tape once a week for the last 4 weeks. And the thing about every one of these tapes is everything is like compressed and mixed kind of lo-fi, even including their vocals. Like they're like mixed and distorted in a way where you can like they're heavily affected, so they don't even like sound like themselves. Everything just sounds like that old like again sort of like evil Memphis sort of style. So those tapes are absolutely sick. They also put out one earlier with Germ, which I thought was really cool. I thought it had like some of like Scrim's best production to date. And they put out a tape with Shakewell as well, which is just super fun. So they've been dropping a lot of music. They've absolutely exploded in popularity. But if you know like the personal story behind them and like Scrim getting sober and stuff like that, it's actually like a really like remarkable story. Like what he's overcome and where he is at now versus like when I first got into Suicide Boys in like 2017, and like these dudes were total messes. It's inspirational. I love seeing shit like that. So despite the absolutely edgelord name, Suicide Boys, pretty uplifting and positive story behind some otherwise very depressing shit.
Yeah.
Did you check out the new Acacia Strain records?
Only checked out the one. I didn't check out the Doomy one. I really liked it. It's refreshing to hear a band like Acacia Strain still making records. I think this is like their 11th record. So like shout outs to a band like them, like honestly just doing their thing and honestly not stopping.
Remarkably consistent band. Really have never put out like a bad release. I mean, Continent era Acacia is always going to have like a special place in my heart. Continent, again, like might be one of my favorite heavy records of like all time, period.
It's up there.
Like Wormwood is legendary. And then right after Wormwood there was like their Gent album,
Yeah, the only death is real. No,
Let me find it.
only
Oh,
the
Death is the Only Mortal.
yes.
And so Acacia Strain, I was talking about this with Tommy about Metallica. Acacia Strain knocks the first song shit out of the park every
Yeah.
time. And the song The Mouth of the River on Death is the Only Mortal is insane. The
Yeah.
lyrics are fucked. It's like I know like Vince is like I remember like this video of Vince like way back in like 2010 or something. And he's on stage and he's literally like, I hate this fucking world. Litter. Put your garbage on the ground. And I was like, that's like just like embodies just like pure resentment. Like I absolutely love it. Do you listen to Polyphia at all?
No.
So I don't even know how new their newest record is, but so Polyphia was one of those bands where I saw what they look like, and I was like, this is going to be like a techie death metal band, and I just never checked them out. And it's like actually like just like clean, virtuistic guitar shit.
I know the song "Go."
Yeah, and you're expecting all these crazy breakdowns and stuff, and then it's just like the best guitar work you've ever heard. And then even even that guitarist, I forget his name right now. I think his first name's Tim. He looks exactly like I wish I looked like when I was like a teenager. Man,
He looks like an anime character.
I've never really been into like guitar virtuosos, but I went through this stage where I just ironically, because he's on one of their records, I really liked Steve Vai.
Oh,
I
cool.
saw like this live DVD of Steve Vai, and I was just like completely blown away at like watching this live performance of him playing guitar. So the Polyphia has a song with Steve Vai, and they have like a video for it and stuff. It's super, yeah, it's sick. Big recommend for me if you ever want like something like chill in the background of what you're doing. You know what I mean? Something that like isn't like too distracting if you're trying to do something else. They're like great atmospheric stuff. Have you heard of the band Buggin'?
No, I've never heard of Buggin'.
Buggin' is a really like abrasive like punk band that's coming up right now. I think they were one of those bands that just like kept showing up on my Spotify. Like you're gonna like this. Like if like every time like a hardcore song would end, it would start playing Buggin', and I'm like, okay, I'll listen to Buggin', and I'm glad I listened to Buggin' because they're really cool. For anyone who's already heard of Buggin', I don't need to tell you, they're really really good. Just like fast ass, fun, pissed off hardcore. So check them out if you haven't. Model Actress is another thing I've been listening to. I thought this was a purely electronic project, but I noticed there was a familiar tone to the noise. You'd really have to listen to it to understand what I'm talking about. And I realized that it's actually a band that sounds like I'll just put this out there right now. They sound so much like Nine Inch Nails.
Nice.
And it's like fidgety and weird. It's
Weird.
it's so hard to explain. And it's like the singer is like super dramatic, and like I didn't think I was gonna like it when I heard it for the first 30 seconds, but there's a few songs on their album's called Dog's Body.
Okay.
There's a few songs that I just like I listen to like literally almost every day. Like I just like there's just like such an interesting groove, and like it's so hard to explain. It's probably the most like artsy bullshit I listen to, but it's actually really good. Rapper turned like Pink Floyd band, Lil Yachty released an album called Let's Start Here earlier this year. It actually came out just at the end of January. And it's like straight up like reminds me of like Rush, reminds me of like Pink Floyd.
Really?
Like 100% yes. So the first song is a 7-minute song called The Black Seminole, and it's honestly like a Rush song, straight up. But Lil Yachty still has those like trap influences in the way he'll go over something. So it's like it's to me personally so much more rhythmically interesting than those bands because there's still those trap sentiments in it. It doesn't sound like trap music at all. Like there's no rapping on this. It's singing. There's like rhythmic talking. Like you could say there's a tiny bit of rapping on this, but most of it is this psychedelic, atmospheric, like I've never been a huge fan of Pink Floyd. I don't dislike Pink Floyd. You can put on Pink Floyd around me. I'll have a great time.
Sure.
Same
Yeah,
with
same.
Same with Rush. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, that's like, again, three people doing something amazing at the same time. I dig it, whatever. But like, this is like, I fell in love with this record when it came out for a few months. Like, I was like totally, absolutely blown away by this. This will probably be in like my top 10 of the year. It's really, really good.
Really?
Yeah, I
All right.
love this Yachty record.
I'll have
So
to
shout
check it.
shout out Lil Yachty. Next is the rapper Killswitch. Killswitch is a rapper who's like part of like Puya's record label. So
Okay.
he basically got like he like was popping on his own, but he like got like picked up by Puya, and that's what really started to put him on the map. So he released a album recently called The Walls Have Eyes. It's fucking awesome. It's like really, really abrasive rap music. And like when I say abrasive, I mean like he's like you've heard Zillakami, right? Or like City Morgue.
No.
Okay, you've heard DMX, right?
Yeah.
He has like a metal, not like a metal scream. It's not like Scarlord. It's less shrieky and more just like, you know, like DMX, so he just sounded like he was evilly talking at you loudly.
Yeah.
Like that sort of vibe. But he's like he has like really fast flows. Just check out Killswitch. Like it's so catchy and so abrasive. He's one of the best guys doing this like wave of like borderline screaming over rap music. He's not fully screaming. You might be able to argue he is, but like again, I think there's a lot of really uninspired sort of like rap music out there now where people think that if they just scream over a trap beat, like it's going to be compelling, and maybe it was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy like where Zillakami walked so Killswitch could run. And lastly, there's new cattle decapitation.
This band is just insane. Like I don't even understand how the drummer plays fucking drums. Like it's just, yeah. This band is so cool. Terrasite was the record that just came out. Super fast, super aggressive. Obviously, fans of Cattle Decap are going to be hyped on this record. Their last record, I think, Atlas, I believe, Death Atlas, it might be. Super good. Like this band is just so good. Like for what it is, like for just being like the like fast deathcore ridiculousness, but like managing to like hold it together and like getting praise from like the death metal crowd without like being like cheesy and like I mean, like these guys are legends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last thing I remember about Cattle Decapitation is someone being like, you need to see the video for forced gender reassignment. And I was like,
yes.
But boy, did I watch it, Phil. All right, so we can just move on to our... I know I basically just recommended like 10 albums, but I'm going to recommend one more. I found this band from Nashville, I believe, called Idiot.
Yeah.
And I sent you, I don't know if you listened to both songs or just, oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so they only have like 4 songs out. I really hope that they're putting out more music. We listened to the songs Even Crazier Train, which it's like at one point, like as they're going into a breakdown, he's like doing this like chugga 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 vocal. Like it's like I don't know how to stress how like fun this band is, how good their drummer is. Like unbelievable drumming in this shit. Like I don't know if you noticed, I forget which of the 2 songs it was, but there's this like crazy like ride cymbal part before something. Like their drummers on a next level. Yeah. What was the other song called? It's Time for Your Face to Be Filled with Fist. And the album artwork is a fist with 5 fingers and a thumb that says idiot on each finger. So it just has 5 fingers just to fit the name. It's so funny. I need this band to put out more music, or this person, or whatever this is.
Do you know where they're
because
from?
Nashville, as far as I understand. Yeah. And this is like my new favorite, like silly shit that I've ever heard. Like it's so heavy, and like it's like the songs are so compelling and interesting. Like I remember, so like Like it's that good. This is this is the new Shark Punch in my opinion. Like
Mhm.
absolute man, shout out Shark Punch. Imagine Shark Punch came back.
Yeah, I know, eh? Oh.
We should just record an EP and just say we're Shark Punch. Let's see them prove us wrong. We were Shark Punch. That was us, guys.
There you go. Now I've been listening to, so the last couple of weeks I've been playing shows with Hellbent, and I had the opportunity to see Single Mothers play in Toronto when they opened up for, or sorry, they headlined for Off with Their Heads. This was super exciting. I also got to catch them at Pooza, so I saw them live, and then I got back into their latest record that just came out this year, I think in March, called Roy, and I have been completely obsessed with this record. It's very like we're talking about those summertime beach vibes, that surf kind of rock, but like it's not the Single Mothers that you're necessarily familiar with. Now this band's evolved quite a bit throughout the years. Of course, their biggest record and most popular being Negative Qualities, where they're more of an aggressive punk band and like kind of like rude and tongue in cheek. And then like throughout the years, they got like records like Through a Wall, which is more like actually like punk, more of like a punk record, more than anything. And then this record, you could tell like he's a little bit more self aware. Oh, cat just bit me.
Oh my god. Why? What a betrayal.
Yeah, the old pet and bite. No, and yeah, you can tell throughout the years that he's kind of calmed down in his life, and maybe even like there's a song about going to a therapist. There's a song about going to like a probation officer and getting him to sign it. Roy, the title of the album track. Yeah, it's super cool. There's a song about being sick on the. A lot of this reminds me of like Hellbent, but it's really dialed back. The songs are really simplified. The album is written in a week, and it's just very honest and kind of looking back at a lifestyle where like Drew, the vocalist, was aggressive and maybe took things for granted, and like you could tell like he's acknowledging that in some of the songs. I think there's one song where he says like, I used to just do things to impress a crowd, like I just would say things or something, and like it's really calmed down, and the music really reflects that. So if you're a big fan of Single Mothers and enjoy their stuff, definitely check it out. It is, for me, on the first listen to, didn't feel special, but honestly I can't stop listening to this record. Every song is a banger on it.
I've never actually listened to this band at all.
Oh, you never listened to Single Mothers? I love this band.
No.
They're from
Yeah, I
London.
just looked up the yeah, from London and signed to Dine Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I guess I just never paid any attention. I was just while you were talking, if they're hearing the clicking and I didn't edit it out, it's because I was actually just adding their discography to my Spotify. So I'll definitely check them out.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Bandecdotes. If we think we've missed you, just honestly, just bug us some more. We have a lot on our plate, but we're always here to try and support and give the spotlight on all the rad music happening in Southern Ontario and just Ontario in general. Yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Keep dropping heaters, guys.